Hey everybody, Mike Miller, Herald Times, reintroducing our pal John Bauernfeind, Inside Indiana, formerly of Inside Indiana.
Formerly of Inside Indiana.
Once again, moonlighting with 24/7 Inside Indiana.
Always and forever.
Always and forever. I like the spirit.
Right.
John came over from Charlotte today, made the hour
and 15 trip.
Not a bad trip at all.
Not a bad trip at all. And I said, hey, I figure I'm close enough. I still follow the team from afar. I figured I'd help out my old pals at Inside Indiana and then help out Mike here.
I needed help with the scoop talk.
You needed help with the scoop talk.
Anyway, solo scoop talk. We're solo scoop talking a 31-24 Indiana victory. Indiana is 4-0. First time they've started 4-0 since 1990. That's a quarter century. That's a long time.
Silver anniversary.
The silver, yeah. This is, we've talked a lot about game day in the last, ESPN College game day in the last week or so. But more importantly than that, I mean, I'm not sure that this is actually going to become a thing, but most importantly, Indiana comes down to Wake Forest and puts together what I think is their most complete effort of the season, just to have a mostly equal part offense, defense effort. I mean, Nate Sudfeld wasn't as sharp as he's been or can be, but he was good enough through 2 touchdown passes, including one to Ricky Jones. I thought was his best throw of the year. Throwing on the run.
On the run to his right, off balance a little bit.
Yeah. Hitting him to put him up, I think, 14-7 at the time. Indiana never trailed. They had their first halftime lead of the season. And if not for final 3 minutes or so, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, there wouldn't be a whole lot of things to kind of shake your head at. But this was a game late after Tony Fields returned an interception 20 yards for his score to put IU up 31-10 at the time. I think there were about...
it was a little over 10 minutes left.
10 minutes left. Maybe got a little too conservative on offense for Indiana. Didn't really sustain drives. I mean, there was a point there where Kendall Hinton, true freshman quarterback, throws for 245 yards. I think 102 or 105 of those came over the final 3 minutes or so. So this one got kind of hairy. But by and large, defensively, Indiana was in the backfield, unlike they've really done consistently this season.
6 sacks.
6 sacks, season
Consistent
high.
Pressure.
Consistent pressure.
All throughout the game.
All throughout the game. Keep going.
That's just a really good defensive performance by them. Granted, like you said, Hinton is a true freshman quarterback making his first career college start. Indiana, though, to start the game, forced 3 straight 3-and-outs. And just looked like they were in control for the better part of the game, outside of that last half of the fourth quarter, last 2/3 of the fourth quarter. But they're getting consistent pressure, which is really encouraging, knowing that you can get consistent pressure with your front four and just drop back your linebackers in coverage to try and help out those cornerbacks and safeties who did give up a few big plays today, but nothing that we have seen before this season, or as bad as we've seen in previous seasons.
This was the game to really get the pass rush going. I mean, I think we talked on Scoop Talk last week that through the first 3 games it had been largely absent, not even close to being consistent. But this was a Wake Forest offensive line that was, frankly, pretty lacking. I mean, they had 2 redshirt freshmen starting at the tackle positions. They 2 weeks ago against Syracuse, they're just completely pushed around. I mean, John Wolford, regular starting quarterback, threw 3 interceptions, and at least 1 or 2 of them, maybe all 3, were probably because he was just under constant pressure. Indiana got that pressure going pretty early, although I would say in the first half they missed some sacks. They missed some opportunities to really finish on some breaks into that Wake Forest backfield. But to finish with 6, a few more hurries, and really the thing was, by going up by 2 scores, 31-10, they kind of took away Kendall Hinton's running ability and made him more of a pocket passer where, he had to kind of find a way to settle in under pressure, which
you would have thought would have worked in IU's favor. But but Hinton did adjust, or whatever you want to call it, and settled down, or was hitting some of the throws that he had been either one-hopping or throwing, anywhere from 5 to 15 feet over his wide receivers' heads earlier in the game.
That's the thing. I think we both agree we want to kind of go back and watch those final 5 minutes or whatever it was, just to kind of see exactly what went wrong. Frankly, I was kind of hurrying to write a story that was already sort of written and rewriting it. But anyway, by and large, once again, this is a pretty encouraging effort against a Wake Forest team that's certainly not great. I'm not even sure they're good, but defensively, I think
ACC nonetheless.
ACC nonetheless. It's and Andy Graham pointed this out, and I think this is accurate and worth noting. This is really a team that they're, for the most part, I think, talent-wise, right about at IU's level. I mean, this is the kind of program that really does kind of recruit with Indiana at the same kind of level of kid. Those 3 occasional 4-star guys, that kind of team. I mean, they're only in Dave Clawson's second year with a new program here, but. This was a pretty solid test heading into conference play against Ohio State next week. This wasn't, as I said, this wasn't a great Wake Forest defense, but it was good enough. I mean, we saw once again that when Nate Sudfeld is not as sharp as he can or should be, Jordan Howard's there to kind of carry the load.
It's like you said, very encouraging for Indiana. Just knowing that, your best offensive player, Nate Sudfeld. Granted, that might be by default by the position he plays, but he doesn't always have to play as well or as great as he usually has to. Jordan Howard is just a really, really good running back. There's not much else to be said for. He just I don't know if there's a nickname for him yet, but there needs to be one.
There needs to be one. That's a great point.
There really needs to be one. It's 4 games through the season. He needs one.
He's very. I love his post-game comments. He's always very, very confident.
Very confident.
What did he say today? He said last week we asked him about why he seems to get stronger as games goes on. He goes, "Well, the defense just gets tired of the pounding I'm giving them. I just don't want to tackle me." What did he say today? He said
today he said, "I embrace the contact," and then he said, "And if they, meaning not only Wake Forest but defenders, namely safeties that he seems to be injuring on a weekly basis now,
knocked out another one this week.
If they want to come after me, then be my guest." Paraphrasing there, but. That's some intimidating stuff, man.
I wouldn't want to tackle. I mean, the one dude who got knocked out today kind of led with his head, which don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's like 220-some pounds of just...
Of an insert nickname.
Insert nickname, yeah. Exactly. Someone come up with a nickname. Anyway, it was good for Indiana to kind of see that even when Nate Sudfeld doesn't have that great game, he kind of does have the safety nets in a Jordan Howard, and even a Simi Cobbs who's really come on strong. Gosh, that was a... career-high 7 catches for Cobbs today, 75 yards. I think his previous high was 4. Mm-hmm. Confidence is really high for that guy. I mean, this is...
And a touchdown, too.
A touchdown, yeah. This is a kid who last year as a freshman just didn't have that confidence. A lot of drops probably led to that. But he's kind of become a reliable target for Indiana right now, as has Ricky Jones, who did roll an ankle, didn't see a whole lot of time in the second half, so we'll kind of check on him on Monday. But by and large, Indiana's heading back to Bloomington feeling pretty good.
I'd say so. I'd imagine so. And now the game day talk intensifies for the next...
Oh, man. Few hours, at least.
For the next few hours.
Few hours.
It's at its peak right now.
Frankly, I'm going to be pretty surprised, if not totally shocked, to see game day in Bloomington. Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
Like that near Wake Forest comeback there.
Yeah.
But game day's well and good. It'd be cool. It'd be really neat. I think Wilson kind of addressed it better, maybe more articulately than he did on radio show Wednesday night after the game today, saying that it's not his job, it's not his player's job to worry about that kind of stuff. We're just trying to get better game by game. It'd be great for recruiting. It'd be great for the program as a whole to kind of continue on this really encouraging trajectory. But I just feel like to be able to go back to Bloomington 4-0, which is what they needed to do anyway, to go back there with a win like this, where it frankly was just as complete as they've played all season. That's really what matters, and that's what's going to kind of sustain them as they prepare for Ohio State and their biggest test of the season. So,
couldn't have said it better myself.
Well,
not many people can.
This is your first look at Indiana this year. Any other big anything else really stand out to you?
Like final takeaways, I guess.
Final takeaways.
Indiana, heading into conference play, won the games that it needed to win,
which is important because this hasn't always been a team that's
and so they are now heading into October. So the Dome was playing games in September. They are 4-0, needing only 2 more victories to make a bowl game. And it's pretty crazy that folks in Bloomington are talking about having College Game Day come to Indiana 4 games through the season and not talking about, we only need this amount of wins to make a bowl game now. I think that's pretty incredible.
You're coming back to Bloomington for homecoming, correct?
Homecoming is a definite.
And you know what?
I've promised at least 15 people that if game day comes to Bloomington, I'll be back in Bloomington.
Well, we know you'll be there for homecoming, which is Rutgers. That's 3 weeks from now, right?
3 weeks from now, yeah.
So Ohio State, go to Penn State, and then you go back to Rutgers.
Yep.
just going to say it, and I'm going to
Say it.
end this and leave it on the table.
Say it.
I could be going for win number 6 against Rutgers on homecoming. I mean, that Penn State game looks pretty winnable.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what happens next week? But
who knows? I'm excited. That's for sure.
Things we said last week. Things are about to get interesting. Boy, have they ever started to get interesting.
Yes,
that could have been said better.
That could have been said better. Teaser for next week, right there.
Teaser for next week, guys. We'll see you back. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on Monday.